co-founder of Molcajete Dominguero.
And I'm Luis Octavio, the other co-founder.
So Luis and I met at La Cita Vera at a Day of the Dead event. And from there, that's where the idea came, where Luis first asked me, is there any other Latino events that happen throughout the year? And I told him, yes, but they're pretty much for the big holidays, the 5 de Mayo, 16 de Septiembre, Dia de los Muertos, and that's how it came about. Luis had a crazy idea, said, let's start something.
Pues así empezó todo, really. I mean, one of the things that we noticed were these amazing brands and these amazing products that they all had. And so we wanted to showcase that. And I asked Gladys, as she just mentioned, hey, is there anything else? She said no, and I said we should start our own. Let's do that. And then all of a sudden, I get a flood of DMs. And it's basically Gladys saying, hey, let's do it. I've been thinking about this idea, let's do it, let's do it. And I think that if she would not have followed up on the idea, maybe perhaps today we would not have Molcajete Dominguero, or it wouldn't be what it's now known. So it takes an idea, but it also takes somebody else to back you up and to believe in that idea at the beginning to be able to make it happen. And that is how Molcajete Dominguero began. Sure, we thought about many different names to Molcajete. We thought about Tianguis, Plaza, Mercado. What else did we think about?
Mall.
Molcajete. Well, I think that was at the end, but I think that the name Molcajete, the reason why we chose Molcajete is because it is synonymous to the Latino community. You don't have to be Mexicano to know what a molcajete is. And I asked friends that were from El Salvador, Guatemala, hey, do you know what this is? And they said, yes, it's a molcajete, it's a molcajete. So for us, from the very beginning, the biggest idea and the biggest concept that we wanted to capture was that this is for Latinos, regardless of where you're from or what your background is. This is not just for Mexicanos, even though Gladys and I are both from Mexico, but for us, it's really important to be able to bring all of these amazing cultures together. So for that reason, we said Molcajete Dominguero, and the reason why a molcajete is because you put an ingredient, 2 ingredients, 3 ingredients, you put several ingredients into this molcajete, and you use a lot of elbow grease, and something new comes out of it. And that is what we thought Molcajete Dominguero to be, where we bring in people from different cultures, people that sell different items, different things, and creating this new space from items and from things that we already know.
So through the whole process, we did start looking for many venues. We learned, we grew out of many. We were pretty much almost dying of heat in some of them. But we've had like many learning. It's a big learning process that we're going through. That we actually still are, I think, going through. And well, mainly it was just finding the right location. And
I think that there's several challenges, and many people think they come to the event and they might think, oh, this is great, right? But in order for us to be where we're at today, which is not even the top of the hill yet, we're not there. But we're slowly climbing and climbing and climbing to try to get to the top. But some of those big challenges, as you mentioned, were these venues. Because the first year, Molcajete Dominguero outgrew 4 venues. And that was a huge challenge because we were scared that we were going to lose people on the way of finding a better, bigger venue. And then once we got to several different venues and we started realizing, holy shit, we cannot have events in a warehouse. That's illegal. It's against the law. And so finding all of these things that people like to call growing pains, that was the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge was always that. I think that at the beginning for us, maybe, I remember that first day, that first Molcajete Dominguero where we had 35 brands and thinking, wait, que si no llega nadie. Like, that was and continues to be, for me at least, I don't know about you, but for me, it continues to be the biggest challenge, where I'm always scared of like, what if nobody shows up? And we've had events where the attendance has been very minimal, but the good thing about that is that at those specific events, we've had brands that were there for the very first time, and they left so happy with the people that showed up that I'm like, wow, we are so spoiled. We're so used to crowds and crowds and crowds, and when we get smaller crowds, I almost feel defeated but it takes these amazing brands that are there for the very first time to say, this was amazing. So I think that for me has been the biggest challenge.
It is, for me as well. Every single event, I'm always nervous. And I even share it with the brands. I say, I'm nervous, what if nobody shows up? And they're like, oh, it's gonna be okay, it's gonna be okay. But that is every single event. So there was a moment last year that I did think about giving up because I didn't have the time for Molcajete. And I felt really bad that Luis was doing everything because I had a full-time job. And I almost wanted to just say, okay, Luis, just take over. But my passion took over. I said, no, I can't be doing this, working full-time and not being so much, part of Molcajete's whole process, just being there on the side supporting wasn't enough for me. So I almost did want to give up and say, no, I have a job, I have to pay my bills, I can't be giving Molcajete so much time. But at the end, I ended up quitting my job, and I am super happy now. I have to deal with this guy all the time, but I am very happy.
Pues sí, claro. I mean, whoever says that they never thought about quitting a project or a business or anything that they have embarked on is lying, is absolutely lying. I have had several instances where I'm like, man, why am I putting myself through this? Why am I putting myself through this? I've fallen behind on my car payment twice. I've had to ask for extensions to pay my cell phone bill. And yeah, of course I think at those moments, like, what am I doing? Especially last year too. I was offered a job in Seattle to be the senior project manager for the Hispanic department at an experiential marketing agency. They flew me out, and it was going to be the biggest paid job that I to this day have ever received an offer for, and I said no. I said no to that, and the biggest reason why I said no to that is because when I was at this agency interviewing, something didn't feel right. But I remember coming back and telling my family that no, I didn't take the job. My dad stopped talking to me for like a month. He was pissed off because he basically said, I came to this country and I sacrificed so much so that you could have an opportunity which you just threw away. So, of course, me dolió, pero I also thought at the very end, like, listen, what I'm doing right now, what Gladys and I are doing, the sacrifices that we're making, hopefully, and will pay off in the future. So we're doing this for a reason. We're doing this for our community, one, our brands that are amazing, but more importantly, we're doing this because it makes us feel whole inside. There's something about Molcajete Dominguero that I know that I would not have been able to get at this agency. So, have I thought about quitting? Absolutely. But nothing ever comes easy, otherwise everybody would do it, right? So, aquí sigo. Hopefully by the time this airs, I will still be here.